Hi, I'm Curt Frye. In this video, I would like to show you how to identify the current region of the active cell in an Excel workbook. The sample file that I'm using, current region, is a workbook that you can download using the link that I provide in the video description below. I have a data set over here on the left, and headers for formulas will create in a bit. But let me first define what the current region is. You will also hear it referred to as the active region, but current region is how it's referred to internally within Excel. In this case, for cell A5 or cell C8, which is part of the same region, it is this block of cells here, this range going from A4 down to D20. If you want to select the current region, you can click a cell within that region and then press Control A, and that will make that selection. And my goal here is to show you how to do that using only formulas. So I'll click away. And if you've seen this type of selection before, then you are correct. This is what happens when you create an Excel table. So if I click any cell in my data set here, and then on the Home tab, click Format as Table, and click a table style, then Excel makes the same highlight that we had before. It basically looks for a rectangular block that surrounds the active cell, and where there's either the edge of the worksheet or a blank row or column above, to the right, and below. So I'll click Cancel because I don't actually want to use a table. So first we will identify the last cell in column A, and we're actually only going to give the row number. So in cell F3, I will type equal. We'll use the X match function, and the lookup value we will leave blank because we're looking for a blank cell. And the lookup array will start in cell A5, because in this case, because we're not creating a table, we want to start with the actual data as opposed to the header. We start in A5, which is our first data row. So I have A5, then a colon, and we can look down as far as we need to. So I'll do A100,000. And that's all that we need here. We don't need match mode or search mode. And this is efficient because Excel will stop looking the second it hits a blank cell. So I'll type right parentheses and enter, and we get 17. However, we can note that the first blank cell actually occurs in row 21, and that's because we started counting from A5. To identify the last row in column A that contains data, we need to add enough to this result, 17, to get up to 20, which is the actual table or worksheet row. So we will add 3. And I will double-click cell F3, plus 3, and we get 20. And we know that's in column A. Now we can do the same thing for the last cell in row 5. So I will click cell G3, equal, X match, again we're looking for a blank, and the lookup array will be all of row 5. And we can do that because we have our data starting in column A. And that reference will be 5, colon 5, and that selects all of row 5. Don't need to worry about match mode or search mode, so I will type a right parentheses and enter, and we get 5. So that is the first blank cell. So again, to get the last cell that contains data, we need to subtract 1. So we have the last cell or column in row 5 that contains data, and that is column D, or column number 4. Also note that I don't have any data below or to the right of any of the cells that are in the data set. And that's important because if you have data there, then it will throw off these formulas and you'll have to figure out a different way to do it. If you're familiar with your data set, it won't be that difficult to do, but I didn't want to make those assumptions. So now I can identify the bottom right cell. That will be the bottom edge of the data range. So again, we're starting in A5 because we're ignoring the headers and going from A5 down to what will be D20. And you can see the parts that I have in place to make that happen. So in H3, I'll type equal, address, and this creates an address based on the inputs that you provided. and both of the inputs are numbers. So the value that I have for the row number is in F3, then a comma, and the column number is in G3, right parentheses and enter, and I get the address of D20. And now I can identify the current region starting from A5. So in I3, I'll type equal, and I will use the concat function to create a text value. So I'll concat, then in double quotes, $A, $5, because A5 again is the top left of our data set, then a colon, and double quote, that's the end of this text string, then a comma, and then the value from H3, right parentheses and enter, and the current region of cell A5, again, assuming only our data, goes from A5 down to D20. And of course, if you did want to include the headers in row 4, you could just change this A5 to A4, and you would get the text value of the current region. I hope you enjoyed this tip and find ways to use it in your own workbooks. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to my channel.